Hello everyone. What is going on? GZTV back with another video, and in this video, we have This Week in the NFL. This is our second season of doing this. We are here, and this NFL season is coming to a close. We're here in week 17, the second to last week. We're going to talk about every single game. We will get to the Bills and Bengals situation, but for now, let's just talk about the other games. We'll get to that in the finale. It is the final game of this week. So Thursday night we had the Cowboys playing the Titans. Dak Prescott has 2 touchdown passes. The Cowboys top a banged up Titans. They win by 14. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys know they have some things to clean up. Starting a 2-game road swing to wrap up the regular season with a victory is a pretty big deal for them. So yeah, they're able to win the game. Josh Dobbs threw his first career NFL touchdown. That was pretty dope. But yeah, Dak Prescott 29 for 41. He had 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions, which Josh Dobbs played pretty damn impressive. 20 for 39, 232 yards, and a touchdown. Threw a pick. Dak Prescott threw 2 picks, but, I mean, he was able to win the game. So, obviously, there's no shit talk there. Treylon Burks had 4 catches for 66 yards, a young receiver developing in this league. He's going to be a pretty good player through the years, so there's that game. Vikings-Packers. My Packers get the dub to keep the season alive. We're going into the final week of the season with the Packers still having a chance to make the playoffs, which is actually It's actually crazy. I didn't expect this at all. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers beat the Vikings by 24. They control their own playoff fate. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are suddenly are just a win away from an improbable playoff berth. No one even expected the Packers to come close, but look at them now. They're looking great. Our defense is looking fantastic. We had 4 turnovers in one game. I don't think our defense has done that all season. But looking here, I mean, Kirk Cousins, 18 for 31, 205 yards and a touchdown, but he threw 3 fucking interceptions, for crying out loud. Kirk Cousins, he'll go from like a 3-game stretch averaging like 350 yards a game and averaging like 3 touchdowns a game to throwing 3 interceptions in one game, where he only had 2 interceptions in the last 3 games, and he threw 3 interceptions this game. Aaron Rodgers, 15 for 24, 154 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Jones, fantastic game on the ground. He had 14 carries for 111 yards. Honestly, one of Aaron Jones' best games in a while. I'm not sure who Naylor is for the Vikings. I've never heard of him, but I mean, 3 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. That is some pretty good stuff there. Allen Lazard had 5 catches for 59 yards, so pretty solid games for those guys. Man, I can't believe the Packers are still in playoff contention. Looking at the Cardinals and the Falcons, kind of like a tank game. 2 teams that are both out of it. Young Wei Koo kicks a short field goal. The Falcons beat the Arizona by 1. Desmond Ridder is still searching for his first touchdown pass 3 games into his career, not quite able to get it today, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I feel like that's kind of unlucky, but man, the Cardinals have David Blough. They've gone through so many quarterbacks this year. They've gone through like 4. David Blough went 24 for 40 and had a touchdown. Desmond Ridder went 19 for 26. That's about it from those quarterbacks. Two kind of on the lower end quarterbacks, sad to say. Let's see. McBride had 7 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. I'm pretty sure they've sat most of their guys. Pruitt have had 4 catches for 49 yards. That's really about it. And yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about, I guess. Bears, Lions, what the hell? Why are the Bears so garbage? Why are they so bad? Lions beat the Bears by 31 and take playoff hopes to Green Bay. So it's in between the Lions, the Packers, and the Seahawks. At this point, it's kind of like a 3-way to see who will get in. Jared Goff has played nearly mistake-free football for 2 months, and his decision-making, along with a much-improved defense, has put the Detroit Lions in a position that seemed unfathomable at the end of October. Here they are, damn near making the playoffs. It's fucking crazy what a run this team has been on. I mean, Justin Fields, 75 yards passing and a touchdown. He did throw an interception, though. Jared Goff, he's been playing exceptional. I feel like it doesn't get talked about in this league enough. I mean, 21 for 29, 255 yards, 3 touchdowns. He played out of his mind. Justin Fields, Jesus criminy, 10 carries for 132 yards. Absolutely insane game from him. Jamal Williams, though, one of the better running backs of this week, 22 carries for 144 yards and a touchdown. Monster performances on the ground. These two teams are definitely good running teams. You know, the Bears have Khalil Herbert. They have Justin Fields. The Lions have Jamal Williams. They have DeAndre Swift. So 2 really good running teams going against each other, but the Lions can also pass the ball a good amount. Cole Kmet, though, 2 catches, 27 yards, and a touchdown, while Amon-Ra St. Brown had 4 catches and 62 yards. Not a bad game. Kind of a developing receiver still. Not even close to being in his prime yet, I don't think. So there's that. Broncos and Chiefs. Shout out to James Draws. He actually showed up to this game. That was pretty cool. They got him a ticket. The sluggish Chiefs beat the Broncos for the 15th straight time. They win by 3. Patrick Mahomes moved into the rarest of company Sunday, joining Tom Brady and Drew Brees as the only quarterback with multiple 5,000-yard passing seasons, and the Chiefs overcame another sloppy start to beat the Broncos for their 15th consecutive win. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes for entering, that room, I guess you could say. Russell Wilson, 26 for 38. He threw a touchdown, but he had a pick. Patrick Mahomes did as well, but he threw 29 for 42, 328 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. It's honestly going to be really close to see who wins the MVP, Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes. I still think Jalen Hurts is up there just by being injured, but yeah. Bunham on the Broncos had 3 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. And Kadarius Toney, probably his best game since joining the Chiefs, he had 4 catches for 71 yards. So shout out to him. Patrick Mahomes has a decent amount of targets on the offense, and Kadarius Toney has sort of like a breakout game in a way. So shout out to Kadarius Toney, a guy I've wanted to see do good, right? Dolphins Patriots is the next game. How are the Dolphins losing this many games? How are the Dolphins at 500 going into the final game of the season? I don't know how that's possible. Kyle Duggar interception return helps lift the Patriots over a fading Dolphins. They win by 2. His team clutching a 2-point lead, the ball on the 1-yard line, and season in the balance. Mac Jones decided to improvise. So what is happening to the Dolphins is actually kind of making me mad how bad they're playing right now. Like, they should have been a playoff lock. They had Teddy Bridgewater this game, 12 for 19, threw a touchdown, but had an interception. You're playing against Mac Jones, a pretty good Mac Jones at that, 20 for 33, 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. Good game for him. Ramondre Stevenson, solid game, 8 carries for 42 yards, not doing too much, but still being pretty damn efficient. Tyquan Thornton had 3 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown, an up-and-coming young receiver in the league. Hopefully he can continue to improve. That would be pretty sick. But yeah, the Patriots, under Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, great leadership, somehow getting his team to win games. It's crazy, man. But yeah, there you have it. Colts Giants. I didn't even expect this to be a game, and yeah, surely enough, it wasn't a game at all. Giants beat the Colts. They reached the playoffs for their first time since 2016. The Gatorade bath for the head coach returned. Fans counted down the final seconds, and there were fireworks above MetLife Stadium at the final tick. Tears were shed in the locker room. The Giants finally made the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. Pretty dope stuff. Man. Nick Foles, he got hurt, and Kayvon Thibodeau was kind of being an asshole about it. But before he got hurt, 8 for 13, 81 yards. He did throw an interception, but pretty solid start to the game for him. Danny Dimes, 19 for 24. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He's kind of earned that moniker. They made the playoffs, crazy enough. Let's see. Danny Dimes had 11 carries for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. So let's see, he had 168 total ground yards and 4 touchdowns, or 268 and 2 touchdowns. Kind of crazy there. 4 touchdowns. Jesus Christ, I can't talk right now. Paris Campbell had 3 catches for 52 yards. The Madden God, I guess. Raymond James had 7 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. He's a pretty solid player. I mean, going into the playoffs, if a guy like Darius Slayton isn't playing a great game, you could definitely. It's either Raymond James or Richie James. I don't remember. It's Richie James. Fucking damn it, dude. Richie James is definitely a guy you could probably lean on going into the playoffs. Honestly, the Giants might just they secured a spot, so they might just rest everyone next week. That'd probably be the smart thing to do. But Saints and Eagles are up next. Maybe you want to play them to give them some playoff practice. I don't know. Saints and Philly. How did even without Jalen Hurts, how did these guys manage to lose to the Saints? Saints won by 10 in Philly. They deny the Eagles the top spot in the NFC. Jalen Hurts held a clipboard, wore a headset, and paced the sideline with the same look of consternation on his face as furious Philly fans in the stands as their stress tightened in another Eagles loss without the franchise quarterback. So, yeah, there was a debate at the beginning of the year. Oh, they don't need Jalen Hurts. Any quarterback could go there and play. Gardner Minshew goes there and plays, and they're 0-2. They lost to the damn Saints, too. Come on. I mean, Andy Dalton, solid game, I guess. 18 for 22, 204 yards. He threw a pick. And guys, you're complaining about Gardner Minshew playing. I don't think he played that bad. 18 for 32, 274 yards and a touchdown. He threw a pick, but he outplayed his opponent, I would say. I mean, in the same amount of passes completed, he did throw 10 more incompletions. In the same amount of passes completed, he threw for 70 more yards. Come on, man. You can't say he played like shit. You're just being a typical, spoiled fan, I guess. Miles Sanders, pretty good game. 12 carries for 61 yards. Rashid Shaheed, I think is his name. Rashid Shaheed, solid. I mean, I've been saying this for a while. He's a really athletic guy for the Saints, and he's pretty solid. 6 catches for 79 yards, while on the other side, Devonta Smith, great game. Him and A.J. Brown on the same team, and he's still able to go for 9 catches for 115 yards with a backup quarterback. It just shows how good of a receiver they have in him. So, yeah, let's move on to the Panthers and Buccaneers game. Tom Brady and the Bucs rally to beat the Panthers by 6. They clinched the NFC South. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are headed back to the playoffs, confident they're still capable of making this a special season. You never know. I mean, they might be a sleeper in the playoffs. I mean, it could very well happen. Sam Darnold, 23 for 37, 341 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. Tom Brady played fucking insane. 34 for 45, 432 yards and 3 touchdowns probably. And, I mean, no one's really going to talk about this, but this is probably one of, if not the best passing performance I've seen all year. DJ Moore for the Panthers had 6 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown. But man, oh man, we can't talk about receiving without talking about Mike Evans. 10 catches, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had all 3 of the passing touchdowns, almost half of the passing yards, and damn near a third of the catches. So, my God, he took over this game. 9th straight season with a thousand receiving yards. That is consistent receiver right there. That is an underappreciated receiver in this league. Browns and Commanders up next. Carson Wentz and the Commanders lose to the Browns. They are eliminated from playoff contention, which is insane. We thought they were actually going to make it. Fans booed Carson Wentz and chanted for Taylor Heineke to no avail while it was becoming abundantly clear Ron Rivera's quarterback change, it just wasn't the move. I don't know why he put Carson Wentz in there. That was fucking stupid, honestly. Deshaun Watson, though, 9 for 18, 169 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not a bad game, really. Carson Wentz, he threw 16 for 28, but he had 3 fucking interceptions. 25% of his incompletions that game were interceptions. But Nick Chubb, can't deny he had a great game. 14 carries for 104 yards. Such a dominant running back. Amari Cooper had 3 catches for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he had 33% of the catches, 67% of the touchdowns. Pretty big deal there. 105 of the 169 yards as well. Jaguars-Titans, shitty game. I don't even know why I'm going to talk about it. Jags beat the Texans by 28 to end a 9-game skid against Houston. Houston's beat them 9 times in a row. With so much on the line next week, it would have been easy for the Jacksonville Jaguars to overlook the lowly Houston Texans on Sunday. But they did it. They came out. They played a good football game. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he went 17 for 21. He did throw an interception. But yeah, Davis Mills went 22 for 40. I mean, Davis Mills also ran for 4 carries for 33 yards, so he was improvising. He was getting out of the pocket. Not much came out of it, though. Travis Etienne, amazing week. 9 carries, 108 yards, and a touchdown. So many young guys that could make a difference on this team. Are they still in playoff contention? I'm not really sure, but Marvin Jones, I like that he's still playing pretty good in this league. 6 catches for 61 yards. And a wide receiver room that's become pretty solid for the Texans. So, Niners Raiders is next. One of the best games of the week. 49ers beat the Raiders by 3 in overtime for their 9th consecutive win. Can they finish the season on a 10-peat? I mean, that would be wild. San Francisco coach Kyle Shanahan said his team has been in playoff mode for several weeks as it fights for a top seed in the NFC, and Sunday had a postseason atmosphere for sure. A lot of things were on the line. They're still kind of fighting for that number 1 seed. It's still possible for like 4 teams in the NFC. So, yeah. Great game. 2 young quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, 22 for 35, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but he beat out Jarrett Stidham, who still had a fucking crazy game, by the way. 23 for 34, 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. I just want to say, shout out to Stidham. He played a great game. He kept his team in the game for like most of the way. I mean, my God, he was getting pressured. He threw it to a wide-open Davante Adams. But let's talk about Christian McCaffrey. 19 carries, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Fantastic game here. Obviously, an offensive piece they added this season who has just been nothing but help for them. So, Brandon Ayuk, one of the most underrated, underappreciated receivers in the league, finished with 9 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. Great route runner. Davante Adams, he had 7 catches for 153 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they still lose. Like, this is something that Davante Adams, I don't know, man. He beat the single-season Raiders receiving record, so that was pretty cool. The yards record, I believe. But yeah, Jets, Seahawks, not a great game here. Seahawks keep their playoff hopes alive with a win. They eliminate the Jets. Geno Smith finishes off a very personal sweep. And by him doing so, a season that started with low expectations for the Seattle Seahawks will reach Week 18 with the playoffs as a real possibility. Throughout the season we've seen they're a pretty solid team. Mike White, 23 for 46, 240 yards. He did throw 2 interceptions. Geno Smith went 18 for 29, threw 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the Jets, pretty solid game for Ty Johnson. They just keep finding running backs. 8 carries for 46, but Kenneth freaking Walker, man. These young receivers are on top. 23 carries for 133 yards. For the Jets, Tyler Conklin ended with 6 catches for 80 yards. I'm pretty sure has he always been on the Jets? I'm not really sure, but DJ Dallas ended with 3 catches for 55 yards for the Seahawks. Pretty solid game here, honestly. Offensively, obviously the score says otherwise, but Rams, Chargers, Mike Williams has probably one of the best catches of the year, and I don't think anyone really talked about it that much. Austin Eckler has 2 touchdowns. He reaches 100 catches as the Chargers beat the Rams. On a day when Austin Eckler accomplished a receiving milestone, it was his running that paved the way for the Los Angeles Chargers to keep rolling towards the postseason. They got to keep stacking up the wins. Baker Mayfield, 11 for 19, 132 yards. Not a bad game for him, honestly. Justin Herbert, 21 for 28, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got slightly outplayed by Herbert. This was a pretty good game, though, honestly. For the score, I think it was a good game. Cam Akers, 19 carries, 123 yards. Great game. Austin Eckler, good game for him as well. 10 carries, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had 1 less yard than Cam Akers and 9 less attempts. Crazy. Van Jefferson, good game. 3 catches, 77 yards. Mike Williams, including that masterful catch on the sideline, 7 catches for 94 yards. Pretty good game offensively. Obviously, the Rams defense could have done better, but and then we get to a pretty sloppy Sunday night game with Steelers and Ravens, 2 teams that don't really have their guys, but hey. Steelers still alive after their last-minute 3-point win over the Ravens. A lot still has to go right for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make the playoffs, but hey, let's see if Mike Tomlin can keep up that winning record thing. That streak. That's one of the best streaks in NFL history. That's really what the storyline is here. Kenny Pickett, 15 for 27, 168 yards and a touchdown. You get Tyler Huntley going 14 for 21. He threw a touchdown, threw a pick though as well. So there's that. Najee Harris, great game, one of his better games in a while. 22 carries, 111 yards. J.K. Dobbins ended with 17 carries for 93 yards. Pat Freiermuth had 3 catches for 36 yards, while Mark Andrews finished the game with probably one of his best games of the season. 9 catches, 100 yards. And then the Monday game, a lot is in the air. Obviously, it is a postponed game. Not a lot to say. Tyler Boyd got a touchdown early in the game, and now I think it was T. Higgins. And then the game gets postponed. Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field. One of the most unfortunate things we've ever seen in this league. Prayers up to Damar Hamlin and his family. It's great to see that people are raising money for his toy drive. That's really dope. I don't have anything to say about it. You can watch ESPN and all that for the analysts' thoughts on that game. I gotta go, man. I don't really want to talk about it too much. It's kind of horrifying, honestly, that something like that can even happen on an NFL field. So, yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. GZTV, as always, giving you guys the sports content. NBA recap is coming out later tonight. I gotta go to work sometime today, so yeah.